Most people think their cat sleeps at their feet because that spot is warm, or because the cat is just being weird. Some people actually push the cat away, roll over, and kick them off the bed without a second thought. And I get it. You're half asleep. You don't want to feel paws on your ankles. You just want space. But here's what nobody tells you. That spot your cat keeps choosing, that exact position at the foot of your bed, night after night, is not random. It's not about warmth. It's not even really about you, at least not in the way you think. And the owners who don't understand this are accidentally shutting down the most consistent form of spiritual protection that's been running in their home silently while they sleep. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you something about your cat's behavior that will completely change the way you look at them. Not just tonight, forever. Let's start with what the research actually says, because this isn't just a spiritual idea floating around the internet. This is documented behavior that scientists at the University of Lincoln spent years trying to explain, and what they found is extraordinary. Their researchers discovered something they called spatial guarding, a pattern where cats deliberately position themselves between their human and the entry points of a room. Doors, windows, hallways. The cat wasn't just lying down wherever. They were choosing a post, and at the foot of the bed, the cat places themselves directly between you, a sleeping, completely unconscious, fully vulnerable human, and the world outside that door. The University of Lincoln team framed this in territorial language, calling it a protective instinct rooted in the cat's social structure. But here's where it gets interesting. This behavior wasn't triggered by threats they could see or smell. There was no predator, no stranger, no obvious danger. The cats were responding to something else, something the researchers couldn't fully quantify. And that's exactly where science hands the question back to the ancient traditions that have been watching cats do this for thousands of years. In Egypt, cats weren't revered because people thought they were cute. They were considered guardians of the threshold, beings that existed simultaneously in two states of reality, the physical and the energetic. Norse mythology gave the goddess Freya a chariot pulled by cats, associating them directly with protection and the unseen forces that shaped the world. In Celtic traditions, cats were thought to stand watch at the boundary between the living world and whatever exists beyond it. These weren't superstitions cooked up by people who didn't know better. These were observations. Thousands of years of people watching their cats position themselves between the sleeping household and the door, and understanding at a gut level that something real was happening. The science gave it a name. The ancient world gave it a purpose. So here's what's actually going on when your cat sleeps at your feet. When you fall asleep, your conscious defenses drop entirely. You're not aware of the energy in the room. You're not processing what's moving through your space. Your body is in its most open, receptive state, and your energetic field, the thing mystics and energy workers have mapped for centuries, what some traditions call your aura, is completely unguarded. Your cat knows this, not in a logical, thinking way, but in the deep, instinctive, almost cellular way that animals know things we've long forgotten how to feel. They station themselves at your feet because that's the perimeter. That's the edge of your field where it meets the room, where the room meets the hallway, where the hallway meets everything outside. They are holding the line, not symbolically, actively. And this is what most owners get completely wrong. The cat at your feet isn't being needy. They're not there because they want attention, or because they couldn't find a better spot. They chose the most energetically demanding position in the room and held it for 8 hours so you didn't have to. When your cat shifts positions during the night, And if you've ever watched them, they do. They're not just getting comfortable, they're tracking something. They're responding to changes in the room's energy, to shifts in the field around you, to what mystics would describe as movement in the invisible. The cat at your feet is not passive, they're working. And here's what I want you to really sit with. They never asked you to thank them. They never asked you to understand. They just showed up night after night and did the job. And if you think that's powerful, wait until we get to the last part of this video, because what I'm going to show you at the end is something most owners completely misunderstand. And it's the moment your cat is most vulnerable, most trusting, and most profoundly honest with you. But before we get there, if this is making you rethink how you've been treating your cat, if you've ever pushed them off the bed or moved them without realizing what they were doing, hit like and subscribe so we can reach more cat owners who need to understand what their cat is actually trying to tell them. These animals deserve to be understood. That's the whole point of this channel. Now let's talk about what the cat is actually absorbing while they guard you. Because it's not nothing. Energy workers across dozens of traditions, Reiki practitioners, shamanic healers, people who work with the subtle body, will tell you the same thing independently of each other. Cats don't just block heavy energy, they process it. They take it in, they run it through their own energetic system, and they neutralize it. If you've ever noticed your cat acting strangely after a difficult day in your home, after a fight, after grief, after a period of anxiety, and then watched them suddenly go off, alone to groom themselves intensely, that's not a coincidence. Grooming in cats is also a reset. It's how they clear what they've picked up. The physical act of grooming stimulates their own energy field and discharges what doesn't belong to them. So when you watch your cat at your feet twitch in their sleep, shift position, suddenly wake up and stare at a corner of the room, then settle back down, they're not having weird dreams. They're actively managing the space. You just can't see what they're responding to. This is also why cats at the foot of the bed will sometimes leave in the middle of the night and come back. They're not abandoning the post, they're clearing themselves, resetting and returning. If you've ever woken up at 3 a.m. and found your cat sitting very still, eyes open, staring at nothing you can see, that's not the internet meme version of cats being creepy. That's a being that perceives a spectrum of reality you don't have access to, doing what they do in the quiet while you sleep. Now, the moment I promised you at the beginning, the thing that will change how you see your cat permanently. There are moments, and if you pay attention, you'll start to notice them, when your cat, mid-guard, mid-watch, mid-work, will turn and look at you. Not the look they give the wall, not the hunting stare. They'll turn and look directly at you, and then they'll slow blink. One long, deliberate close of the eyes, and then they'll open them and look at you again. Behaviorists call this a slow blink and confirm it signals trust and non-threat. But that's the surface reading. What's actually happening in that moment is that your cat, who just spent hours holding a perimeter, processing dense energy, standing between you and everything you can't see, just checked on you. They turned from their post, looked at the thing they're protecting, and communicated, "I'm still here. You're still safe. I've got this." And the other version of this, the one that is almost impossible to witness without feeling something, is when a cat guarding you at your feet rolls onto their back, belly exposed. Because the belly is the most physically vulnerable spot on a cat, every survival instinct they carry tells them never to expose it. And yet, in the middle of keeping watch for you, your cat sometimes decides that this space is safe enough, that you are safe enough, that they can lower every single defense they have. They went from being your guardian to trusting you completely simultaneously, in the same night. That's not a small thing. That's a being making a profound choice. They don't do that for just anyone. They do it because at some level that goes beyond logic and beyond what science can fully map. They decided you're worth it. The fix is simple, and it matters more than most people think. When your cat looks at you and slow blinks from their position at your feet, slow blink back. Hold it for about 3 seconds. Soft eyes, deliberate close, slow open. What you're doing in that moment, whether you believe in the energetic dimension of it or not, is communicating back to them that you received the message, that you know they're working, that you see them. You can also, when you wake up and find them there, offer your hand low, back of your knuckles first, and just let them make the choice to come to you. Don't reach for them. Offer. Let them confirm the energy between you on their terms. Because here's the truth that I want you to carry with you after this video. Your cat chose the foot of your bed. They chose that position, that post, that responsibility, and they chose you. Not because you asked them to, not because you even understood what they were doing. They just decided, somewhere in that ancient knowing part of themselves, that you were worth standing watch over. Every single night. The least we can do is stop pushing them off the bed.